Hey guys, welcome back.
Hi, everyone. It's been quite some time.
It's definitely been a while. I hope you guys have enjoyed your summer and that you've had a nice break. I know we did. Good times with the family.
That's right. I am currently sharing. So if you guys see us on Facebook, come join us. Let us know in the comments how you are, where you're from, how your summer was. Oh, girl. All right. Y'all, it's been an interesting transition back into the swing of things for sure.
I would have to agree with you. I think for me, back into the swing of things means getting back into our stuff and our podcast and getting back into our business that we do. And yeah, I had a nice little break, did some studying and things like that. So I think a good place for us to start is with our mama check-in. So, well,
Yes.
actually, first of all, let's introduce ourselves.
All right.
So, welcome to the Holistic Brown Mamas podcast. I'm Cece.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are here to share holistic health with a melanated perspective so that we can share some things, that maybe aren't reaching our communities as much as we'd like them to. We want to bring that melanated community back into that holistic way of living. But the way
Exactly.
we start off our show is with our mama check-in. So, Sarah, how's it going?
Oh, girl. Okay, well, since the last time I was here, I've graduated. Woohoo! She's a doctor. So I am officially a naturopathic doctor, EVAV. So it's been good. I'm actually, when we get done here, I'm gonna go get my office ready. So with my furniture, I have like my dad and my husband and some of my cousins coming to help because I'm not Bob the Builder. I don't do that. I'm more of a point and yes, put that there and put that there. So it's going good. This morning was a little rough. Okay. I have an 8 month old and she was rolling in the river like Tina Turner last night in the bed. So no one really got much sleep, but I have my Starbucks. So it's going good. How are you?
I'm good. Had a good start to the day. It was pretty like a nice easy transition. Hubby was here to help out and he is not here now, so you guys might hear some background excitement that is not relevant to the show. Just, whatever it is, what it is. This is Real Mama Life on a Real
Hello, there
Mama
you go.
podcast.
Yes, exactly.
But
Exactly.
yeah, I've been taking some additional courses because I'm looking into some opportunities to do some work in pediatrics. So I'm taking some courses in pediatrics and I'm also finishing up a course in geriatrics. So I just want to get them from the beginning and all the way
Hey.
through to the end. We're just going to full spectrum occupational therapy here. And
That's
then otherwise, just
exciting.
working on yeah, I'm super excited. I love the pediatric stuff. I used to do a little bit of pediatrics, but I haven't done it in a while, so I'm just brushing up on my skills. And
Yeah.
and then I'm working on a business program, which is super exciting. So
Wonderful growth
yeah.
all around. I'm here for it. Yay. So, for those of you who are joining us who are new, maybe you've never seen our show, we are entering our second season. You can catch all of our episodes from our previous season on our Facebook page. And today we are going to be talking about inflammation. So, it's sort of like an inflammation 101. And we chose this topic particularly because of the fact that we're still kind of lingering into the pandemic and slowly trying to get out. And, inflammation plays a big role in our immune system and in our health in general. And so we wanted to kind of give us a foundation, an educational foundation for you guys. So future topics, you'll kind of have more of an understanding of what we're talking about and ways you can apply that to your daily life.
Agreed. This whole season, we're going to be talking about inflammation and immunity of the immune system and how they work. So, quiet, quiet. So we'll be talking about those different topics. And for those of you who are watching live, or if you're catching the replay, I want you to answer below in the comment section, is inflammation good or is it bad? And we just want to know what
Yes.
your thoughts are before we get into the content. What do you think about inflammation? Do you think it's a good thing or do you think it's a bad thing?
Exactly. And even if you're watching the replay, just do hashtag replay gang and then put your answers in because that's what we want to see. So the way we structure our show is we do our mama check-in and then we kind of give a basic overview of the topic. So today it will be inflammation and then we'll go into things you can do, things you can eat, and things that you can think. So three different ways for you to apply the information from today into your daily lives for you and your family. So
All
let's kick it
right.
off with inflammation. Cece, Coach Cece, what is it? What is inflammation?
So inflammation, when you think about the word, it is essentially telling you what it is by the or by the sound. When you think of inflammation, you think of inflamed, and you might think of the word flame. So flames, when you think about a fire, it's things that are getting hot, that are heating up, and that's what inflammation is in our body. It's our body's way of, heating up and addressing whatever type of assault that it's dealing with, whether it's a assault that just happened, like, oh, I just fell and skinned up my knee, or if it's an assault that's
Mm-hmm.
been happening slowly over time, like basically what happens with our vascular system or our blood and circulatory system over time from our diets, where we slowly build up these plaques or fatty buildup inside of our arteries and things like that. So it can be something that happens right now, or it can be something that has happened slowly and progressively over time. And that
Exactly.
inflammation can absolutely be a good thing. So, Sarah, like, what are some good things about inflammation? Like, why do we like inflammation?
Yeah. The way I explain it to my clients is I think of inflammation kind of like, when you're in the airport and you got those people that are waving those light wands directing the plane, like your inflammation and inflammatory markers, they are directing your immune system to the area of concern. So I'm doing my best about like not using a lot of medical jargon because I'm like, the cytokines and the inflammatory markers, and you guys are going to be like,
Yes,
what?
talk dirty to me. But everybody else doesn't like that.
So our cytokines are basically those directors, like, okay, white blood cells, T cells, B cells. The issue is over here, so let's come on and go over here, fix this. Or hey, we're dealing with some chronic blood sugar issues, high blood sugar issues. So kind of go all over the place. So inflammation is really good at directing our immune system to the place where it needs to be as effective as possible. So now that we know kind of what's good about it, what are some examples of like long term or what we call chronic inflammation?
Yeah. So when you've had a condition that has been going on over time, whether that is a genetic condition, it could be a neurological condition, or it could be a lifestyle developed condition. Um, when that inflammation is constant, when your immune system is constantly responding and responding and responding, you develop conditions, illnesses that are directly related to that constant and chronic inflammation.
Yes.
So there are lots of inflammatory conditions that we actually do have a bit more ability to control in our lives, like um, the diabetes that is not the type you're genetically born with. The type we used to
Yes.
call it type 2, but now it's like they've changed the name with insulin dependent, non-insulin dependent. So,
Hmm. Yeah.
um, but the type of diabetes that develops throughout your lifetime because of maybe changes with how your internal, how your pancreas is functioning. Um, and hold on one second.
No worries. Yeah, it's real life, y'all. But it's funny. I need to like think of a way to do like a little
Sorry.
intermission song.
Yeah, it's like do do do. Kids are talking. Do do. Somebody's crying. Da da da. but back to what I was saying. The inflammation that is chronic is inflammation that will occur and cause those long-term health conditions that are
Hmm.
said to be irreversible. We'll talk about that more in a different episode, but sometimes these things are not unstoppable or irreversible. Um,
Hmm.
it's just the way the medical community talks about them. So that would be your type 2 type diabetes that is developed from lifestyle, not the kind that children develop from, genetic conditions. That would
Right.
be your heart disease, elevated things like, some people do have naturally elevated cholesterol from the time they're
Right.
children, but this is the type that is developed over time from lifestyle. And
Yes.
we're going to be looking at arthritic conditions that develop from inflammation. So those types of things are your chronic inflammatory conditions. And those
Right.
conditions are really dangerous because they can lead to an increased risk of death or an increased risk of injury. For example,
Yes.
there's different things that we do that may cause us to have, a heart condition later on or a stroke later on that maybe if we did some lifestyle interventions, we could reduce our risk and improve our longevity and improve the length of our lives.
Exactly. So, like in a nutshell, basically, we are focused on reducing chronic inflammation associated with lifestyle issues, poor diet, lack of exercise, and then understanding that acute or inflammation surrounding an injury, trauma, or an illness is our body's intelligent and innate system to heal itself. So, with that kind of underlying foundation set, let's talk a little bit more about things you can do. So, what can we do to reduce our chronic inflammation?
Yeah, there's lots of things we can do to reduce our inflammation. I think is with the first place to start is with your stress. Hold on one second.
It's all good. I'll take over. So, the first thing you can do is kind of what you're doing right now. So, learning. So that's talking to your doctor, talking to trusted providers like myself or Coach Cece, and reading, listening to podcasts, and really improving your knowledge base around the topic, because then that's going to just kind of strengthen your foundation about the different lifestyle changes that you can and should be making. Okay, I'll keep going. The next thing you can do is manage your stress. So managing stress is very important. The stress hormone cortisol is definitely involved in inflammation, and it can actually exacerbate the damage caused by chronic inflammation. So it's important that you manage your stress. And of course, I think we talked about this in last season, but there are tons of ways to do this between diaphragmatic breathing. um, I often recommend therapy because that helps our mental, which will then help us with the physical implications of stress, along with analyzing our relationships, our triggers, and just having a more holistic aspect towards managing our stress. And then also ways to, things you can do to address inflammation is to get a checkup, check in with your doctor. So, sis, when's the last time you went to the doctor? Our kids go to the doctor every month, then every 3 months, then once a year. When was the last time you went to the doctor and actually
Yeah.
talked to them?
Yeah, so I was going to the doctor regularly every year. And then my doctor said, you're very healthy. Come back in 3 years. So I said, okay, thank you. But generally, you want to go every year. And of course, your doctor will get to know you and know what your conditions are and recommend what's the
Right,
best frequency for you to come. And then, of course, as ladies, we go see our lady doctors on a regular basis too to get our
right.
lady health in order. But yeah, and then I think it's important, and Sarah, you may have already touched on this. I apologize, guys, for stepping away. Um, but yeah, the reason why you want to go to your doctor regularly is because you don't want something lurking around in the background that you didn't know about and you didn't get any blood
Yes,
tests. So now all of a sudden you turn up with some crazy thing that was
exactly.
chronic, slowly developing over time that could have been,
Hmm.
mitigated or reversed or even lessened earlier on. So,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
And you kind of brought up a really great point because the whole purpose of going to the doctor and getting your checkups is to make sure you're doing proper check-ins and preventative care. So that means, are you
Mm-hmm.
getting your blood work done? Are you getting your cholesterol panel, your blood sugar panels? Um, do you have an idea of where your health is? And then, so you have a baseline. So every time you go to your doctor, they can compare. Okay, last time your blood sugar was this. Last time your cholesterol was this. It's gone up a little bit. Let's focus more on exercise. But it's just a way to stay on top of things. So, like you said, you don't randomly show up to your doctor and it's like, oh, by the way, you're diabetic. Here's some metformin. See you in 3 months.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of people avoid going to the doctor because they feel good or
Hmm.
because they don't really want to know why they don't feel good.
That's the
But
part.
early intervention is the best thing. And
Yeah.
well, I won't say the best. It's like the second best thing, but prevention is your number one. So
Yes.
preventative care is that regular checkup with your doctor so that your doctor is going to give you instructions and advice. So hey, you're on the right track. Here's what to do to keep staying on the right track. Or, hey, you're starting to go down the wrong path. This is what you might want to do to kind of correct it. And don't be afraid to
Yes.
ask your doctor for things you feel like you need. Like if you don't know a thing about nutrition and your doctor's like, hey, you need to lose a little weight, just lose some weight before you come back. And you're like, I don't know how to lose weight. Don't just leave your doctor's office like, okay, I gotta lose some weight. I have no idea how to do
Hmm.
that. Like that's that time where you can say, okay, I need to lose a little weight. Can you give me some instruction? Can I talk to a nutritionist and find out if your insurance covers nutritionists?
Yes.
And I say that because what I hear from people is, yeah, the doctor told me I need to lose a little weight, and I went back and I was 5 pounds heavier a year later, and they said you still need to lose a little weight. And doctors aren't nutritionists and dietitians and personal
No.
trainers. Like they're not going to
No.
know exactly what to tell you how to lose weight. And even if they do, it's kind of not what they're supposed to be doing. You know,
Exactly.
you need to
Exactly.
go to the right professional for the right type of care. So
Yes. Yes.
those are some things you can do, like go to the right professional for the right type of care, and don't restrict your healthcare professionals to just your doctor. Your healthcare
Yes.
professionals can be a doctor, a nutritionist, a health
Hmm.
coach, a personal trainer that you may be working with,
Yep.
and to make sure that the people you're going to really know what they're doing, because there are health coaches out there who have no idea about health. They just took like a quick
Okay.
6-week course. There are personal trainers who I went to a personal trainer once, really because I was trying to get a job at that gym, and he had me do biceps. Your biceps. Oops, can you see me? I'm like trying to find the camera. There we go. He had to do biceps and triceps the entire workout. 30 minutes of just biceps and triceps. When I got back in the car, my arms were so fatigued. They were just shaking. And I was like, I will never work at that gym. They don't hire good people. And I knew when I was doing it, but I was like, let me see what this guy's about. Well, he was like an ex football player. So he gave me like a dude, not that there's a difference for
Yeah.
workouts for men or women, but to my mindset, it was a very masculine energy dude,
Yeah.
like workout so that I would leave and feel some way. So he could say, see, that's why you need me. And I wanted to be like, I'm a personal trainer already. I know how to work myself. I was,
Right.
scoping out your gym. But my point is, make sure you research who you're working with, because
Yes.
everybody with a title or a degree is not professional and not skilled. So those are things
Boom.
that you can do to help with your inflammation, because that personal trainer had me in severe inflammation.
Exactly. But you brought up a really great point. Like, there is a sense of inflammation that happens after a very strenuous workout. That's why there are rest days. That's why
Mm-hmm.
we encourage stretching and, sorry, y'all, somebody got church going on in this background. Like, All I hear is hallelujah, have the spirit, ma'am, but I can't focus. Let me put my other headphone in. Lord have mercy. Anywho, let's just move on to things you can eat,
Yes, Sarah and
which I think
I
is our
love
favorite. Yes,
food.
yes,
We are very much like a food is medicine
yes.
little crew here. Like,
Hmm.
really, if you guys do a great job with your diet, a healthy diet can cover over a multitude of sins since we're talking about church.
Right.
But yes, there are things that you can eat. So, Sarah, go ahead and share some of the things that you like to eat, and then I'll kind of freestyle
Yeah.
in there while I keep one ear out for the small person
For the
here.
little, yep, for the little. Okay, so I love recommending and even following the anti-inflammatory diet. So the
Yes.
anti-inflammatory diet is full of inflammation fighting omega-3 fatty acids through fish, like in high quality fish. So not
Yes.
farm raised tilapia. Okay,
And not with all the antibiotics and the
no.
hormones.
You're going to have to go to Whole Foods and get like the grade 4 or 5 salmon, or sardines or any type of like fatty fish. It
Yeah, and
also
sardines are
has,
cheap, so you don't have to go for broke. Like I know salmon can be expensive, but sardines are pretty cheap.
yeah, exactly. Or oils like olive oil, and these are heart healthy, some nut oils. Um, but ideally, it focuses on whole foods. So,
Hmm.
like we both tell our clients this: when you're shopping in the grocery store, do the outside first. So if you notice the outside of the grocery store, it's like the produce section, you have your meats in the back. Then on the side, you have like the breads and hopefully whole grain, multi-grain breads. And then you can go on the inside, which is more the processed foods. With some of them, the canned food and canned fruits and veggies are, staples in our home. But we want to focus on whole foods. We want to reduce unhealthy fats. So unhealthy fats are basically all the stuff that tastes good. So
Yeah.
donuts, cake,
And not necessarily
chocolate.
like that they are all the things that taste good, but the things that taste good because they're artificially sweetened or they're sweetened with a ton of
Exactly.
sugar or
Yeah.
because they're deep fried. Because you can find some
Mm-hmm.
really delightful things that taste good that are healthier for you. Like
Yes.
we've been loving these, what are they called? Gem or Jewel, something like that.
Ooh.
Sweet watermelons. They're like dark green, and they're like little, and they are
Ooh.
delicious. I mean, and especially cold from the refrigerator. And I know some people are going to be like, that's not like having a piece of cake. But for me, it really is so good. And then there's no negative feelings after I eat it. I don't feel like, oh, I
Exactly.
shouldn't have ate that cake.
You're right.
It wasn't even gluten free. Like, I feel great after I eat it, and it's very refreshing, and it's also good
Yes.
for like helping to cleanse your liver and your bladders and stuff like that because there's so much fluid in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
Exactly.
Sarah is right. That is the typical stuff that you go in there, and if you go in there hungry, you're gonna be like, oh, but I would really love to get, the little boxed food of cookies and cakes and crackers. But
Yeah.
those things do drive inflammation. So, you have to pick and choose how frequently you want to have those things and
Hmm.
what's more important to you in your life, that slice of cake every night or feeling good. You know what I mean? Like
Right. Right. Exactly. Also, drinking clean water. So this is a very
clean
interesting
water.
topic. That's what I say. Everyone's like, I don't drink dirty water, like, but you never know. So I really prefer spring water. Um, Cece, actually, I don't know if we've talked about this, so you may or may not agree with me, but I'm not really big on alkaline water, only
I have not
because,
seen enough evidence on alkaline water.
listen, yes, the water may be like pH 9 or whatever. I don't even know. I'm just making up a number because I don't know. But as soon as you drink it, your body adjusts that pH because it's naturally what we're supposed to do. So how are
Yeah,
you
we
technically
neutralize
getting the
things.
benefit? Exactly. But
And
if
I,
you
I,
love your
I couldn't
alkaline
say.
water, drink it, boo, because then you're drinking
Hmm.
more water. So I don't care. You're staying hydrated. There you
So
go.
we're not saying that we know, or we're saying we don't know right now. We don't know if alkaline water is a great thing, but I haven't seen any evidence to support that alkaline water per se is a good thing. I am still doing research on alkaline diets, and I have seen good things about eating foods that are more alkaline, but I can't say that drinking alkaline water has shown any. I haven't seen any research. So you guys feel free to send us articles because we love reading. We're huge nerds.
Yeah, big
So
nerds.
yeah, send us some
But I was
information, but
gonna
I haven't
say,
seen anything solid.
my feeling about alkaline foods is absolutely different. So alkaline foods absolutely create a ideal environment in our bodies and for our health. So
Yeah.
that's dark leafy greens, beautiful fruits and veggies. Like that part is good. The water part is the part where I'm like, no, the receptors in your saliva are gonna neutralize that. So what are we doing? But anyway, so drink clean, drink clean water. Drink lots of water. I have been challenging myself to drink more water. So I just have this big Starbucks cup from San Diego where we just moved, and I drink it. And then when it's empty, I remind myself, fill it back up. So
Hmm.
whether you have reminders in your phone or just really kind of being conscious of your water intake, use whatever tools you have to stay hydrated and drink really good, high quality water.
And I'm going to put a little plug in. I have found, working in healthcare or basically working in the world right now, where you're having to, wear a face covering and not like breathe around people, without your face
Mm-hmm.
covering on. It is has been more difficult for me to get in my water. So I've made a conscious effort to start when I wake up. I'm at the house. I can walk around without anything on my face. I try to drink water before I leave. I try to drink water in the car. I try to drink water on the drive there and on the drive back home. Um, because I know when I'm at work, I'm less likely to drink because I am one of
Exactly.
those anal retentive rule follower people. So I'm like, if I touch my mask, my hand is dirty and I can't, and I don't want to like touch my mask and have a sip, and then I gotta like wash my hands. So, I'm very like, it's such an ordeal for me to, and I'm not
Yeah,
real big on like continuously hand sanitizing because I have some skin challenges and I can't just hand sanitize over and over, or my hands will literally crack open and bleed. So I really am more of a soap and water kind of girl, which means I have to run to somewhere with a sink. And so
right, right,
I
right.
knew that I was not drinking as much. I would take my mask off at the end of the day and I'd be like, God, look at my lips. I'm like, oh my God, I'm dehydrated. So if you're in that type of a situation, try to, build that water up at other times because you might not be drinking that much. And then make sure you take a break. I'm also like a really big go-getter, so I'm not likely to take many breaks at work. So take a break in the middle, eat and drink, and then put your mask back on and do what you need to do. But
Yeah.
that has been a challenge for me. I won't lie about that. So I've been working on it because they knew like I would eat and snack and drink all day at work in between patients. They were like, this girl eats like a 14-year-old boy. And I'd be like, yes, I do. That's what I do. So it's
My
been a
goodness.
challenge for me to so I had to adjust my whole lifestyle. Like, there's lots of things that have
Yeah.
happened during this pandemic where we've really had to shift. And the reason why we are making a big point about eating, part of the reason is because there's been a lot of people who've gained a lot of weight over the pandemic. It's like the freshman
Yeah.
15 in college. It's like you're in this isolated situation and then they're like promoting all these different foods on TV. I don't know if they're doing it more, but I feel like they're promoting junk food more. Maybe it's just in my head. So people are just
Hmm.
eating stuff. And then like God, freaking McDonald's will deliver to your house. Like,
Look, okay,
I just,
DoorDash brings all the bad
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
so, it's hard. We're in like a much more difficult situation to eat healthy because, the marketing is on point. They know exactly what they're doing. I don't know if y'all have
Exactly.
what is that pink IHOP in your area, but the IHOP commercials right now for the holiday, the Halloween stuff, I'm like, just turn that off.
No, I
Just
now that you mention it, I have not seen an IHOP commercial in like forever.
Do they have
Interesting.
IHOP
But
in
yeah,
California?
they
I know they have it
do.
in the
Yes,
South,
they
so
do.
yeah.
They do. They do.
Okay.
In San Diego, they did. I was like, wait, did they?
You're
Yeah.
like, is that a
But
thing?
I'm actually back at home. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um, other things you can eat: nutrient rich diet. So eat the rainbow. Um,
Yes.
also, sadly, you're gonna have to reduce your alcohol. Okay, the cocktails, the wine, It's not very good for inflammation. Not saying that you can't have it ever,
Yeah,
okay? But maybe do one glass at night
right.
or every other night
And
or
that's not to
focus on
say
the
there
weekend.
aren't
Yeah.
there aren't some benefits because we know about the whole red wine and this, that, and the other, but
Yeah.
it's a matter of the excess alcohol consumption that is
Hmm.
inflammatory. And you can get some good benefits just from eating grapes, although I know people find that drinking wine is more relaxing and a little more fun. But
That would be me.
and Sarah was saying eat the rainbow. The reason why that is so important is because there are so many different vitamins and minerals, and you need different vitamins and minerals to activate
Yeah.
different systems in your body. So those different colors
Yes.
have different vitamins and minerals. Like oranges typically have vitamin A.
Hmm.
Not oranges, but the orange color, orange foods.
Yeah. Carrots.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And then green foods will tend to have vitamin C and surprise, surprise, a lot of people don't realize that, but
Yeah.
vitamin C and vitamin A, and then they'll tend to have iron
Calcium.
and
Hmm.
calcium.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, when you're eating the rainbow, you're actually giving yourself natural sources of vitamins and minerals that really help you. And I know there's some people who really, really strongly promote a carnivore type diet. I'm still researching that. I do not think it's out of the question, but I do think
Hmm.
it is dependent on how you do it. You can't eat the way that Americans eat meat. But if you're eating
No,
organ meats do have a lot of, minerals and vitamins in them because it's the blood, you know.
for sure. Yeah.
So, if you're not really into eating a lot of plants, because I know a lot of carnivore diet people eat very minimal plants. They eat like berries and they eat the really good ones, the really nutritious ones.
Yeah.
But, just make sure that you're getting those vitamins and minerals from somewhere. And I'm still
Yeah.
looking to see about ketosis with a carnivore diet. I haven't known anyone to do it long term other than like Maasai warriors, and there's no way I have information about them other than just like
Right.
reading other people's data. So like
Cece, you mean you can't go find your local Maasai
I mean,
warrior? Like,
be like, hey, how's it going? Can I get a little blood test for you real quick? I just want to check this out. But I know some people like are really critical of the carnivore diet, but I've actually been
yeah.
researching it and it's not horrible. So
And everybody's different. Literally
yeah,
everybody and
everybody's
everybody's physical body is different. Exactly.
yeah, like
Yeah.
some person can eat the carnivore diet and do well, and then someone can be eating the carnivore diet and be like crawling around, like feeling like death, and they would do better
Exactly.
on a vegan diet. So you have to do
Exactly.
what's best for your body.
Yeah. Exactly. Also, you want to. Oh, I just saw a comment. Hey, mom. Thanks for watching. So, also, you want to reduce your sugar and
Hmm.
avoid your allergens. Now, I'm really glad
Yes,
that we talked about the allergens because there is a difference between allergens and sensitivities.
right.
Um, Allergens are the ones that cause you to break out in hives and, the typical presentation. So your throat closes or it gets itchy. But sensitivities can cause more systemic and even some cases localized inflammation that can last or even begin hours to days after you've eaten that thing.
Hmm.
So common ones are like dairy, gluten, um, eggs for some people, and kind of the list kind of goes on and on and on. But identify your allergens. If you have an allergy, 9 times out of 10, you know that you have an allergy. You've been tested, all of that. But you may not know that you have a sensitivity. So, a lot of people who have complaints of um, migraines or constant headaches or GI complaints like diarrhea, abdominal pain, constipation, or skin issues like eczema, all of those can be linked to food sensitivities. And those can actually be identified through a series of tests. So, avoid your allergens, reduce your sugar. Oh, the kids are talking, so we're gonna see.
All right. But yes, I am glad that you touched on sensitivities versus allergies so that people have an understanding. They're both inflammatory processes and you want to minimize them as much as you can. And that's something that you could work with someone like Sarah who does, naturopathic medicine.
That
And
I
or
do.
and what is the what is the I don't remember the technical title for an allergen, but there are doctors who that's their specialty. They focus on allergies. They do these skin tests. They do stool tests.
Oh, the allergists.
Um, yeah, I guess they're just called allergists, right? I feel like there's probably like
Hmm.
some science word for it. Um,
There's
and
always
then
a science word for something.
right, some like fancy word that nobody remembers and can't pronounce. Um, and then you can also work with a functional medicine or an integrative medicine doctor. Because I will say that general practitioners don't tend, I'm not saying they don't, none of them know, but they don't tend to know as much. But if you have a general practitioner who also has a background in integrative medicine or functional medicine, then they'll be
Yeah.
able to dive a little deeper. Because what I have seen is that some people have these low grade inflammatory conditions that are causing like bloating and gas and,
Hmm.
discomfort and pain, migraines, like Sarah said. And then they
Joint pain.
go to the doctor. Yeah, joint pain and stiffness. They go to the
Yeah.
doctor, and the doctor's like, "Oh, all your tests are fine. I don't know what's wrong with you."
Yep.
And then they're stuck. They're
Hmm.
just like, "Here, I'll give you a pain pill for your joint pain." Okay, so now you're taking a medication that may or may not be necessary, and then I'll give you something for the bloating. Why don't you do this antacid or whatever? And you're
Hmm.
taking medicines that are addressing the symptoms, but they're not getting to the root cause. They're not resolving what is causing your problem. So that's why those doctors with those specialties in other areas can help you. And I've seen lots of people who have had good outcomes from getting a stool test and getting an allergy
Yes.
test and realizing, oh
Yes.
my God, it was the eggs. And then they stop
Yes.
eating eggs and they're fine. I've even read a story about a woman who was unable to eat modern day corn because it's highly genetically modified, which
Yeah.
some people are fine with it, some people aren't. And I really don't know long term if genetically modified foods are dangerous or not. We just don't have the data.
Yeah.
But when she went to eating heirloom, meaning from the original old school seeds like that the natives had when America first was discovered, um, when she would eat heirloom corn, that was not genetically modified and was not like hybridized and spliced up a million different ways, she could eat that corn with no problem. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's just simple dietary changes that will change your life. Your joints feel good. You have
Absolutely.
energy again. It's like amazing. So that's why
Yes.
inflammation is huge. It's such a big deal. And sorry, I'm getting
Exactly.
excited. So I'm going to temper myself a little bit.
I'm enjoying it though. But you're right. Like I know so many clients who've been like, "Oh, I can't eat these foods," and then they go for vacation in Europe and they're like, "I had pizza, I had a croissant, I had
Yeah.
this, and I had no problems." I'm like, "Yeah, because
Yeah.
America."
Because America. We're like, we got a better solution for how to do food. All right, it's not better, but it's
But
doing something, right? But I mean, not to
exactly.
knock America. We are capitalistic, which is beneficial in
Yes.
some ways. Anybody can get rich here if you try hard enough, right? Come up
Yeah.
with the right product. But because of that, the food industry is very capitalistic.
Yeah.
So they're not really looking out for your best interests. And what
Bottom
started
line.
out as, right? Like what started out as, oh, there was a depression. We want to make sure we never have food shortages again. Let's do some different science with the food, turned
Mm-hmm.
into, we have created these, as I've heard other people call them, Frankenfoods. And so the food is
Yep.
so different from what we were genetically designed to eat, the food that God created, the food that
Yeah.
came naturally up from the ground, that our bodies haven't adjusted to it. And there is reason to believe over time humans will adapt to whatever stress we put ourselves under. So one day
Yeah.
we might find that we can thrive on a high sugar, high fat diet. We have not
Mm-hmm.
evolved there yet. Right now it's
No.
killing us. So we
Yes.
need
Yes.
to change what we're doing.
Absolutely. All right. So let's transition into things you can think. So when we say things you can think, we're talking about mindset changes, mindset
Yes.
adaptations. So first thing you can think is that inflammation is a natural, innate, intelligent part of the healing process. This is
Absolutely.
why, even as, okay, yes, I have a doctor hat, but I also have a mama hat. And even as a mother and as a doctor, when my child has a fever, innately it stresses me. So I'm like, oh, because we're so conditioned, like fevers are bad. You
Get
have
rid of it.
to get rid of it. Tylenol, ibuprofen, right now. But it's our body's way of killing the pathogen.
That's
Yes, you
right.
want to
That's
keep them
fire.
comfortable. You don't want to make them allow the fever to go too high, but you also don't
Hmm.
want to stifle body's natural healing process. There's a meme, and I kind of want to see if I can find it and put it in the chat. But you know the meme of the Indian man, and he's in. I guess he's like a soccer stadium, and he's just standing there like it's like that's your body when you have a fever, and then you give your body Tylenol, and your immune system is just like, bruh, I'm
Like,
trying to work.
like
I'm trying to
it's
work
like, so
here.
you just gonna stop me from doing my job. And
And
I
then
think
like,
people think of fever fearfully, like you said, but when you
yeah,
have something like when you're cooking meat, right? Why do you cook the
hmm
meat? Why don't you just eat that meat raw? Why don't you just smash that, right? When you cook
right,
it, number one, it makes it taste better. I'm vegetarian, but I'm not going to say I've never eaten meat. I used to eat meat. I became vegetarian for personal reasons, but
right,
you use the heat to kill the
yes,
germs and the
yes,
bacteria, and we do that when we sanitize things.
yes,
It's so that's like our body's way. It's not like our body's in there with little soap and water and like, oh, let me. It's heating it up to kill it.
yes, yes. So again, acute inflammation is a part of the healing process. Chronic inflammation is the dangerous inflammation that we are trying to reduce.
Yeah, and you
So
want to
that,
think
yeah,
about that. Like, think about what is causing the chronic inflammation and what can you do to change that and reduce the chronic inflammation.
yeah. Can you go into the next bullet because I actually want to provide you guys with like a basic list of
Yeah,
signs or symptoms of inflammation because you might be sitting here like, okay, you guys are telling me how to reduce inflammation, but how do I know if I have it? So you go ahead. I'm gonna
awesome.
focus up.
Okay, so the next piece is about managing inflammation. So, when you're thinking about managing inflammation, I say managing because some people will say, oh, reduce inflammation or eliminate inflammation. But as you know now, inflammation is not bad and or good in neither kind of case. It can be good and it can be bad. So managing inflammation is saying, okay, I'm going to allow the good inflammation to occur and allow that to happen, but I'm going to try to reduce the bad inflammation that's going on. So when you're thinking about that, your mindset for what you can think is relaxation first. I think that our first line of action is to reduce our stress levels and really think about things that keep us at a nice, even and steady pace mentally. Because when you are at peace mentally, it automatically reduces your inflammation. There are people who
Mm-hmm.
have illnesses who just do breathing exercises and their symptoms start to decrease. So the first thing you can think about in regards to managing, inflammation is how can I relax myself? How can I calm
Yes.
down? What's really going on, and how can I take the stress out of the situation? Um, Once you've kind of gotten to that place where you're reducing your stress, then you can start thinking about what are some solutions that I can use to change, where my inflammation levels are. So that might be the things that we talked about, talking to your doctor. Okay. So start thinking about when can I go see a doctor? Which doctor do I want to see? Do I need to see a specialist? Have I had these, symptoms that Sarah's going to share with you, but like the achy joints, the bloating, the, general sorry, medical term, fatigue or tiredness. um, am I experiencing those things and is it possibly related to inflammation? And so kind of make yourself a little list. Start thinking about, what are some of the symptoms that I'm
Mm-hmm.
having? And once you have
Mm-hmm.
that list of symptoms, you are now ready to go to your doctor and have a conversation. Because I think a lot of people
Yes.
go to the doctor not ready for a conversation. In America,
Yes.
well, in other countries too, but I would say in America, we tend to have this demigod mindset about doctors. So you go to the doctor, uh, great doctor, tell me what to do. Oh, take these two
Yes.
pills and call me in the morning. Like, oh, yeah, man, hallelujah. So, but in reality, doctors are human beings and
Yes.
they need input from you. I, I
Yes.
could never help my patients, and I'm not a doctor, I'm an occupational therapist and health coach and stuff, but like I could never help my patients and clients if they didn't share information with me. If they come
Yes.
into the session and they had a terrible day at work and they rolled their ankle in the parking lot and they had a horrible meal for lunch and I'm like putting them through their usual workout and I'm like, this chick is what's going on with this girl, um
Mm-hmm.
and then and she didn't share with me, and of course in my place I didn't ask, but that's why I always ask with my clients, but she didn't share with me her horrible day, her horrible meal, because she was stressed out, so she
Right.
had like a binge eating issue at lunch at work because she felt terrible and she rolled her ankle. then I'm putting her through the same workout as if her body was in its tip top form. And then I'm
Yes.
causing more inflammation. So she had an
Yeah.
inflammatory day, you know, and she had an inflammatory meal, and then she had an inflammatory accident with her ankle. And then I come
Hmm.
in like, here's some more inflammation. Enjoy. See you next week. So you really
Right.
want to be able you really want to be able to come to your healthcare practitioner ready to share with
Yeah.
them what you've been thinking about. And
Yeah.
Sarah, you seem
Because I
like you agree
tell,
with that.
yeah, I tell my clients all the time, yes, I've gone to medical school. Yes, I have however many degrees, but you know something that I don't. You know your body way better than I do. You live in your body. I don't. All I
Mm-hmm.
have is the information and the resources and the tools to help facilitate your healing. But like you said, a lot of times it's very much so like a hierarchy system with medicine. But with my clients, this is a partnership.
That's right.
So I require you to tell me what's going on with you. You bring your whole self to our appointments and our visits, and I will give you, as the best of my ability, I will give you everything I can to help move you along the journey of healing from
That's
sickness
right.
to wellness. So in the comment section, you guys will find that I put in signs of chronic inflammation. A lot of this we've already kind of mentioned, but I'll go through it. So, body pain. Do you wake up just feeling achy, tired? Um, Joint pain, muscle pain, chronic fatigue, insomnia, depression, anxiety, some mood disorders, um, gastrointestinal or gut issues, so constipation, diarrhea, bloating, indigestion, acid reflux, weight gain or weight loss, and also frequent infections. Because, like we were saying, chronic inflammation actually depresses the immune system. So, your body is not able to really put forth a strong response to an infection or an illness because it's already busy putting out this wildfire going on in your body.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
after a while the system is overloaded. So it's like I can't do anything else.
exactly. It's above me now. Your body is literally like it's above me now, friend.
And now I want you guys also to think about being very open. I think it's normal to like not talk about how you're feeling. When someone says, "How are you?" Like you go to the doctor's office, "Oh, how are you doing today?" "Oh, I'm fine."
Right.
If you're not fine, okay, and I think we've decided, and we're getting ready to wrap up because we hit our 45 minutes, so we apologize because Cece talks too much. But when
No,
we
we're having a
we
good
start
time.
we start to normalize bloating, gas pain,
Yeah.
regular headaches, you're not
Yes.
fine. Like that's not normal. You should not have headaches all the time. You should not
No.
always have gas and feel like,
No.
oh, I always gas. Yeah, let me excuse myself. No, you should feel good.
Yes.
What we have normalized is not natural. A
No.
natural health is like I feel good. I feel happy. I
Yeah.
feel energized. I don't if you feel tired because you didn't get enough sleep, that is a normal occurrence. But if you're getting
Yeah.
enough sleep and you're like, oh, I feel energized, I feel lively, my body isn't having a bunch of aches and pains, like if you just
Hmm.
ate something that gives you gas and it gives you gas, that's normal. But,
Right.
we need to know the difference between what's normal and what's atypical, what's not normal, and what we have normalized, what we have called
Yes.
normal. So that way, when you go to
Absolutely.
the doctor, yeah, okay, yeah, this is a new idea. We haven't talked about this, so I'm sharing it. I'm glad that you resonate with me, Sarah, because I'm like,
Absolutely.
we're always saying we're fine, but tell the
And we're not.
truth. Yeah,
Yes.
like tell the truth. I'm not fine. You know what I'm saying? Like I have gas all the time. Otherwise, I'm great, but this gas is affecting me. My clothes feel different. I
Yeah.
don't want to be like I can't wait till I get in the car so I can let one off without anybody around. And I know this because I've talked to people and I've had these conversations with people. This is how people
Yes.
feel. Like they're at work
Yeah.
holding their gas or hoping they can get somewhere. But having gas all the time is not normal. If you're having gas
No.
because it's your cycle and your hormones are fluctuating, like things like that are normal. But
Yeah.
having chronic gas is not normal. So talk to your
No.
doctor and let them know.
And also, y'all, these insurance premiums are far too high for you not to be talking to your doctor about these situations. Okay. Like you're paying for it through your paycheck, through your job. put these doctors to use. Take care of yourself. Yes. Take care of yourself because at the end of the day, I mean, the majority of our audience, and we are geared towards brown mamas, we have a lot of responsibilities. We have to care for ourselves, we have to care for our children, oftentimes our spouse. Maybe we might have aging parents. But in order for us to manage all of the different responsibilities that we have to take care of ourselves.
Hmm.
And in order to take care of ourselves, we have to prioritize our health and speak up and advocate for ourselves.
And
Yeah,
I think that is a good place to wrap up. I think we covered everything on our list.
I think we did. And then some. Well, welcome to season two. We are so excited to be back. We have some amazing things planned for you guys. So stay tuned. Go ahead and like our page, share with your friends and family, and we'll catch you guys next time on the Holistic Brown Mama podcast.
Bye, everyone.